What up, everybody? We
What's
got
up?
another episode of the Ops. Are we live? Okay, yeah, we're live. Okay,
Yes.
fantastic. All right, June 24th, 2026. We got a lot to get into today. Our main topic is just going to be one topic today, but we're also going to be talking about some of the happenings that are happening in the NBA. The NBA had their draft. They had some trades that happened over the last couple of days. Some players got signed to some major contracts. Hey, what up? We got the comment section going already. Make sure that you like and subscribe on your way in if you haven't done that already. And follow us in our Instagram and Facebook chats as well. We always appreciate the love and support. We got the crew with us today. My man Big Z in the building, and Dave in the Cut Jones.
What's up? What's up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, which topic should we begin with today? Because I know one of the ones we was going to get into was the Pride Nights that had been happening in baseball because of the month that we're in. Should we lead off with an NBA discussion or save that for the end?
Let's lead off with the NBA, man. We'll get that out of the way, and we can go into the to theme nights.
Okay. All right. Well, the biggest news to drop in the NBA had to be, two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo going from the Milwaukee Bucks to the Miami Heat. There was speculation that he was going to get traded to the Boston Celtics. He ends up going to the Miami Heat in a package that saw multiple first round draft picks go to Milwaukee, as well as Tyler Hero, among others. Um, I think the crazy thing, fellas, is the fact that they think that a lot of people are saying Miami Heat is now like the third or fourth best team in the East. I call me crazy. I I don't see that. I don't see that. I know people are saying the East is weak, but if you got Boston and you still got the Knicks, of course, ahead of the Miami Heat team because they don't really have anything as far as point guards go. Are we just dismissing the fact that the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers had good seasons last year?
I think people are prisoners of the moment. It's
Speak
a
on it,
big
Z.
trade. It's a big trade, and they want to act like it's a seismic shift. Kind of reminds me of what the Knicks did with Melo. They gave up a lot to get Giannis. Like I'm looking at the roster, and I know five names on this roster, and one of them just because I've heard him in passing, Norman Powell. He could be a good player. I don't know. I don't really follow like I used to, but I mean, I'm looking at this roster. You got Giannis, you got Bam, you got Andrew Wiggins, and Bobby Portis and Norman Powell. That doesn't scream championship team to me. So unless Pat Riley has something else up his sleeve, where he's got some moves that he plans on making, which I mean, I wouldn't put it past him as Pat Riley. It's the godfather of the NBA. So he's going to make somebody an offer that they can't refuse or they're going to be sleeping with the fishes. Um, but I mean, I don't see this team as currently constructed making a whole lot of noise. Like you said, you got Detroit, you got Cleveland, Boston, some team in New York lucked their way to a championship. Um,
Hey, hey, hey.
and I mean, I think people are forgetting Tyrese Halliburton is coming back. And last season, it was Halliburton who lost to OKC in the finals. And we got OKC coming back. I mean, I know you said the East, but it's going to be a tough road for Miami just to get out of the East, let alone make the playoffs, let alone win a championship. So it'll be interesting to watch. He finally got what he wanted. He got out of Miami. I hope they could put a team around him. I mean, he's 13 years in. I know he's still young, but that's a hard 13 years. Um, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Dave.
I don't see them going anywhere, bro. That's I think like I'm gonna just mirror what Zeke said. I feel like they gave up way too much for Giannis. I don't. I'm very surprised at that move, man. Like I don't. Um, I don't know if that was a location thing for him. I don't know if if he really believes that he's gonna go there and he's gonna be closer to winning the chip. And like you said, the people say that the East is weak, but I don't know, man. Is it? You know what I'm saying? I like, Tatum and number one were 1 year removed from a chip. The Knicks are playing strong. Um, you can't just write off Detroit. I don't care about Philly. Philly is a joke. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know what Giannis was thinking, but I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that was the move, man. Like,
Did he have a full no trade? Like, was it up to him between Boston and Miami?
well, I mean, he had. You would think he had some kind of say because they were saying that the two front runners are, Boston and Miami, and it's like I don't. You don't hear Giannis complaining. You don't hear him like upset about it. I have to
NBA
say
is different now. You don't need a no trade in the NBA because
you really don't.
Harden proves
You're
that
right.
all the time. You fuss, you pout, you say you're unhappy, you cause bad team chemistry. Nobody wants that, and so they're only
Well,
going to trade for you
hey,
if you want to go there.
I'm saying like I don't know, man. Any team will want a Giannis,
Yeah.
Right.
but I don't know if he necessarily chose Miami. I mean, I listen. If I had to choose between Boston and Miami and South Beach all day, but
He influenced it though. There was reports that he was okay with Boston or Miami, and then he received criticism for going from Milwaukee to Miami when he could have forced his way to Boston. 'Cause to me, Boston sounded like it probably would have made a lot more sense because the thing with Boston that everybody was criticizing was they were just chucking up threes at the end, and that's why they got eliminated. They didn't really have anyone going to the paint. You're not going to see Giannis fall in love with a 3 point shot and just start chucking up threes. That's not his game. That would have balanced them out a lot better than it's going to do Miami, who now doesn't have shooters and may not even be able to sign Norman Powell. Crazy enough, because I mean, I know you said that was the guy that you knew. They may not even be able to re-sign him, so they may not even have him. And so, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. But I don't understand how people are discounting all the other very talented teams in the East. Obviously, still Boston. I would have them ahead. I would have the Pistons still ahead. The combination of James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, I would still have them ahead. And like you said, once the Pacers come back, 2 years removed from the big dance, they don't have Miles Turner anymore. He's obviously in Milwaukee now. That didn't work out for the Milwaukee Bucks at all. But I would still think that they would probably be on par with where Miami is at the very least. I would say. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I definitely don't think they're better than the champs. That feels good to say. That still feels good to say.
it'll be a
It's
long
it
year,
feel
man.
real good, don't it? We're not gonna beat Zeke up with that,
It's gonna be a long year.
but it do feel good.
It just still feels good. Okay, fellas, probably the craziest signing outside of kind of the drama of who's getting picked first in the NBA draft was the signing of Trey Young. Do we have that clip at all?
Let me see. I want to make sure that could pull it up and get the volume on it. Give me 1 second,
Okay.
okay?
All
Did
right.
they
Yeah,
give
you
him
do your thing.
212 mil?
What'd you say?
Yeah,
Is that what I saw? 212 million over 4 years.
yeah, they gave him a ridiculous contract, and that was kind of like the. I mean, the Wizards always finish last. It's just crazy. They just always finish last. But they have some real talented players finally on that team, and so Trey Young, Anthony Davis, and now the first round draft pick AJ. How do you say his name? Debansa.
Advance.
Debansa, who's highly touted. He's supposed to be has Kobe type athleticism. $212 million deal over 4 years. But the thing is, in order to get that deal, he declined his $49 million option. And people were saying, like, why would he decline that option? Because the market for his trade was not there. So why would the market to sign him to that kind of record deal would be there? And so if we have the audio, do we?
We do.
Brian Windhorst had an interesting theory that I just find fascinating. And so, yeah, throw that up there and we'll talk about it afterwards.
All right, cool. All right, here we go.
Literally the day the trade happened, people in the league knew the trade was not going to play. If you are going to be a free agent, you are not going to not want to play. You're going to want to have a great year, hence the term contract year. What they are paying Trae Young here for is having sat before becoming a free agent. This was a calculation by the Wizards. It was a calculation of how do we get a player with talent and how do we get him in a way that we guarantee that he's on our roster. We don't have to go seek out and also get the highest draft pick possible. You make a deal like this. They could have rewarded him without giving him this much money. This was a shocking sum of money. And not only that, Bobby, they gave him a player option. The Hawks had a hell of a time trading him. They had a hard time trading him because of the $50 million he was owed. He opted out of that contract with the full knowledge he was going to get a new one from the Wizards. I know that there's plausible deniability that can exist, but Bobby, I do not understand why they paid him this much money. The last full year that Trae played where he wasn't, dealing with some sort of tanking situation, he averaged 24 and 12, led the league in assists. Like, he's going to put up numbers for them. But you guys know how I view contracts. Bobby, I think this is instantaneously one of the worst contracts in the league. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry I said it that way. I don't mean to be mean. I don't think they could trade this contract unless they attach the number one pick to it. Literally the day the trade happened, people in the league knew the trade was not going to play. If you are...
All right.
That's wild. And so
That man looks stressed out.
He does.
if you guys caught what he was implying, and he didn't imply it, he said it. The
Oh yeah.
reason Trae Young got that kind of money was because they were tanking and he allowed them to tank by not playing the end of the season. I mean, doesn't that put a whole, uh, you know, uh, tint on the season itself? I mean, like they got the number one draft pick, and they did it by not only because it didn't make sense at the time. They traded for Davis, who like played I think one game and then immediately got injured, and it was pretty much done. And then they traded for Trae Young, who was already injured, and it was just they're like, what exactly are they doing? Like, I mean, they're trading for this talent, and none of them are going to play this year. And now it's they're like, hey, even if you're healthy, stay seated, young man. We trying to get this number one pick.
So the logic is your thinking is what Winnie is saying is that they rewarded Trae Young with this monster contract to thank him for participating in the tanking.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. And it would make sense. Because, like, if you agreed to sit out when, players want to play, but you agreed to sit out, is they're like, hey, don't play. I'm going to reward you with a record breaking contract that no one else is going to pay you in the whole league. No one's going to give you this money. So if you want to fight me on this, try your luck somewhere else, buddy, right? Or you could just sit down for a half a season and get paid more than you ever dreamed of. That's an easy choice.
You think he could? Would you be good with that? If you're a baller, would that resonate well with you?
Personally,
Yo,
I'm not blaming Trey Young, but like, bro, like you gonna get paid. Like he probably want to get half of that, bro. Realistically,
I don't know,
he probably
man.
want
I
to
got
get
a
half of
question.
that.
Go
I
ahead.
got a question. Trey Young playing last year would have helped the Wizards how much? It's the
I
Wizards.
agree.
So
Facts.
if
Easy.
when he got traded, he was already dealing with some nagging injuries. So if they say, you know what, we're gonna trade for you, you got some nagging injuries, rest up. We're not going nowhere, so it makes no sense for you to get on the court and risk hurting yourself. We're gonna sign you, probably gonna get the number one pick. When you come back next year healthy and full strength, we're gonna have a contender. I,
Ye-
okay, I'll do it. He wasn't playing through injuries for the Wizards makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't, man, but it's the integrity piece, man. Like it just speaks
Look,
to
it's the
you.
long term health piece. You go out there and you get hurt worse than you already are. Then what? For
Yeah,
nothing. They weren't
yeah.
winning last year.
I mean, I get that, man, but I don't know. It's easy to say. You sit back and say, like, I could sit back and be like, "Easy, you crazy for doing that," you know. But if
I
like
think that is a trap.
they they weigh that money under your nose, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can rationalize the decision so many different ways.
I mean, like One Horse said, he wasn't getting that money nowhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
He got that money while still having the worst haircut. Dang.
yo, that's
That's so
Well,
messed up, bro.
between him and Kevin Durant, I mean, I really don't think a lot of these dudes really care. Like, I'm paid, and I'm better than you, so
yeah. I mean, I get that piece, man. I get it, but it's still like I don't know, man.
But
you would
real
want to
talk,
think that he would quote unquote do the right thing and give 110%, but for what?
bro, they got the number one pick. The Bulls had the number four pick. Maybe if
Let's not
Trey
talk
Young
about that.
plays,
Let's not.
maybe that's the Bulls with the a top three pick. Maybe they are
I
able to
turned
get
on the
Boozer or
draft.
Darren Peterson.
I turned on the draft just to see where my boy Boost was going to get picked, and naturally he got picked one pick before the Bulls. I
Right.
turned it
Oh
off.
my
I
gosh, bro.
didn't care after
Bro,
that.
Trey Young plays. Maybe Boozer's on the Bulls. That's what I mean. That's the That's the consequence that this could have, right? And so, like, it changed. It's a history changing event, and the NBA is trying to steer people away from, um, from tanking. What they really need to do is stop people from flopping, but they're trying to stop them from tanking, and you got this kind of stuff happening. So,
People are always going to find a loophole.
yeah,
Yeah, they will. But that's wild though, man. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, PZ. It's kind of, I don't know, man. It is what it is.
I know how Peasy feels about it. It don't matter. Knicks won the championship.
see, you brought it up. You started that.
that's facts, though. Yeah. Either way, Knicks in five.
You brought it up, man.
He was gonna. I just beat him to it.
Probably.
Ah,
Probably.
Dave,
I,
no, listen. Don't bemoan me for bringing it up. You gave this dude a whole show last week,
I did.
so I
I
don't want to
did.
hear it.
Listen,
we
No,
had a
don't
good
even say
time.
us
We
because
had a
you
good
spoke
time.
for like
The
5 minutes.
audience went for a ride. If you missed that episode, you missed a great episode. You need to go
That
back and check that
episode
episode
it
out.
mysteriously disappeared from the archives. I don't know. You
it
probably
wasn't.
might have blocked it or something. I don't
It
know.
wasn't us. It was. It was. I gave it to Peasy because, like he said off the air, we've had our moments. We've been able to bask in the glory of having our teams win, and he's been waiting. The Mets have been letting him down, and our
That's
Knicks
a whole
won it.
nother conversation. I could talk about the Mets. It's driving me crazy. I know Lucito said you're not going to talk about the Knicks or Mets. Sorry, we started talking about the Knicks, but no, I'm not going to talk about the Mets.
He did. So I let it rock, man. I let it rock. I gave him a whole episode, let him rock, and he rocked, man. He did not disappoint. And
Yo,
yeah, we're gonna get some good
Epic.
clips out of that too, bro.
Oh
anyway,
boy, should be
before we
fun.
go to the draft, we mentioned Boston earlier. How do you feel right now if you're Jalen Brown?
I feel like I'm
It
about
seems
to
like
be
every
traded.
time it seems like every time Boston's looking to acquire somebody, he's the one they're getting rid of, and it never happens.
Well, he seems to be the one that's most unhappy with the
Right.
situation. Would you disagree with that? He seems unhappy there.
I'd be unhappy too if they're trying to get rid of me all the time.
But that's not the reason he said he was unhappy. He said he was unhappy because essentially he wants to be number one. He doesn't like being Robin to anybody. He thinks he can be the man. It was the whole beef between him and Stephen A. Smith started when unprompted. Nobody asked him the question. He just came out and said, "This was my favorite season." And it was like, bro, you just got bounced from the playoffs, bro. Like you were up 3 games to 1 and you got bounced out of the playoffs. This was your favorite season, bro. You got a season where you won the NBA championship and you won Finals MVP. This was your favorite season. What was so different about this season? Well, he was the number one guy, and so it was clear and obvious that he doesn't want to be second fiddle to anybody. Now, granted, his talent I actually have been saying, I've thought this for a long time. I think Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum. When I see the Boston Celtics play, Jaylen Brown is the dude that, I'm most afraid of when I watch that team play. But yeah, I don't think the Celtics feel that way.
I don't think a lot of
Yeah,
people feel that
and
way.
their championship season, man, Jalen Brown was like he was otherworldly. The defense is what really took them to the championship. Now they knocked down some big shots during that finals, but his lockdown defense, man, it was
Yeah.
on another level. And you would think he would be happy, but it sounds like he's more concerned with the quote unquote Robin role. I don't understand that with dudes, man. Like I
I'm
don't
gonna
understand
say
like, huh?
no. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I jumped in. But
Nah, man, I'm just saying, like, I don't understand that with these dudes where and I think that's what made the Bulls legacy so dope is that Phil Jackson got everybody to buy into their role. Even though Michael was Michael, right? Everybody played a role. Now these dudes came out, in the in the documentary and they all had something to say. And Scottie Pippen, oh, the Bull, we wouldn't have won those championships without me, which is true. Cause but then to come out and say, oh, I'm better than Jordan and like it always ends up going off a cliff, man. And I don't understand why. Everybody has a role to play. And all the way from the ownership, all the way down to the players, they found a way to ruin that dynasty. You know what I'm saying? Because of pride. It's like, no, I have to be the man. No, I put that team together. No, it wouldn't have happened without me. Everybody knows, man, that none of that would have happened without MJ. You take MJ off of that team, you could. I don't think Scottie Pippen was replaceable, right? I don't at all. But was Scottie Pippen Michael Jordan? No, he wasn't.
I
He
mean,
Scottie
we
absolutely
got
Pippen was
wasn't.
dope though. I mean, the Bulls still
I'm
made
Jordan.
not
the
Jordan
denying
took
that.
him.
playoffs.
I'm not
Jordan took
denying
himself
that.
off the team, and those
Huh?
those 2 years that he wasn't there, they didn't get it done.
Right.
Like we say, if you take Jordan off the team, we had that. Those 2 years he went to play baseball in Birmingham, we
Right.
had
What did
that.
Pippen do then? What did he do?
Yeah, you were the man on the team, and you got bounced in the playoffs every year.
So, my thing is, I don't understand why these guys always feel the need, man, to like, I gotta be the man. No, you know what? This was the best season. He's throwing out those little sly comments, man, trying to, like he was happy that his teammate wasn't there because he could be the man. And what did it get him? It didn't get him nothing.
I think that's the problem with Jaylen Brown is that he is the man. If like when I watch the Celtics play, he is the man. And to compare him to Pippen, I think is unfair because Pippen never won a Finals MVP. There was never a Finals that I remember watching with the Bulls in it that I was there like, you know what, Pippen should have won that. I haven't seen that Finals. With the Celtics, I was there like Jaylen Brown was the best player in that finals. We've never seen a finals where Jordan was not the best player,
I'm not
right?
comparing the skill set. I'm comparing the arrogance, bro. I'm
For
comparing
sure,
the
for
utter
sure.
arrogance. You know, I that the whole. I don't know if he's jealous of Jason Tatum or what, man. Because Tatum does get a lot of shine. He does get the shine, and it may not be fair. You know what I'm saying? Jalen may be better than Tatum is, man, and I don't feel like I'm the person to say that because I'm not like I don't watch them enough to know that. But why can't everybody just fill their role and play their role, man? Like I don't understand that. I just don't. I don't get it.
I think that was probably what was most impressive about this Knicks run. Not to get back into the Knicks, but Carl Anthony Towns, he was used to being an alpha, and he was able to, kind of, take that seat to Jalen Brunson. Same thing with, Mikal Bridges, who was the number one with the Nets. He was their best player before he got traded,
Yeah.
and he was able to take that kind of seat. And then, OG, you don't care at all, but like that, I think that was that team dynamic that was missing from a lot of other teams where you don't know who the top dog is and you got people that don't want to acquiesce. But yeah, I think that was a good sidetrack. Zeke, I noticed that you wanted to talk about Angel Reese making history.
Yeah. Last week, in the middle of a back-to-back drubbing of the Indiana Fever, Angel Reese became the fastest player to get to 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds, and she beat Tina Charles getting to 1,000 rebounds by, I believe it was 10 games. She did it in 79, and Tina did it in 89. Um, and it's still frustrating because every post that I see about Angel, the common theme is, oh, the me bounds, the me bounds, the me bounds.
Yeah, that's hilarious, bro.
I'm gonna
Listen,
ask, do the
it's not
offensive
hilarious.
rebounds
It's
count?
sad. It's low hanging fruit, and it shows that people really don't have any idea what's going on. Because if you watch the game, all of her offensive rebounds aren't me bounds. I saw a chart um, of the rebounds that she has this year. I think uh, 90 90% of them were legit offensive or defensive rebounds, and only like 9.5% were off of self misses. Which I don't understand why everybody sees that as a bad thing. It, it's no secret that Angel Reese is an undersized big in the WNBA. She's 6'4", but she's not that big. She gets out muscled down there a lot. So when she's banging in the paint, going off for layups, she's not going to make all of them. But I'm impressed at the fact that, yeah, she's undersized, but she's still going up there and snatching boards over everybody. Um, and if you take her quote unquote me bounds away, she's still like top one or two in the league in rebounds. The girl is, I think people are going a little bit too far with saying she's a Dennis Rodman of the NBA. But I mean, if you look at her first 3 years in the league, she's got some impressive rebounding numbers. And I I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and turn this into stump for Angel, but I don't know if people are giving her the credit that she deserves for being the player that she is. Does she need to develop more? Absolutely. I think if Angel developed a jump shot where she didn't have to rely on trying to score in the paint, um, she'd be all right. But I mean, the way that Chicago dismissed her last year when she said we need better players, and they get rid of her, and they're doing worse, and Atlanta's one of the top teams in the East with a legit chance for a championship run, and she's averaging a double double still. She's just going out there doing her thing, and it's been fun to watch because I actually do watch WNBA games. I think 20-year-old Zeke would not recognize this Zeke, but yeah, I've been watching Angel, been watching the Aces. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on in WNBA that I think if people started paying attention. Lucita, why you laughing, pimp? I want to know why you laughing.
Yo, let me throw this.
Rebounds.
Let me throw this stat in here real quick while he responds to why he's laughing, man. So as far as offensive rebounds are concerned, the stats here say 35% of her offensive rebounds come off of her own misses. The other 65% are grabbed from her teammates' missed shots. But it also
Yeah.
says with her total rebounds, when factoring in her defensive rebounds, her self rebounds account for only 13 to 16% of her total rebound numbers.
hmm So
So
I mean, I was doing some quick math, and like, all right, if you take the me bounds out of there, with the rebounds that she's getting, she probably still would have broke Tina Charles' record. Just it would have taken a few more games.
yeah, I
Like
believe the
she's
same thing.
going out that. I don't understand why grabbing boards off of a miss. I don't care if it's the other team missing or your teammates missing or if you're missing. If you're getting your team an extra possession, isn't that important? Like we just talked about playing roles. She's not gonna go out there and score 22 points a game. But she's giving what? I can't remember how much she's averaging. I know she's averaging like 12, 15 points a game, something like that. She's pulling down boards, she's playing defense, she's getting the steals. The dream, her teammates love her. And I saw them play against Chicago, and you could tell those teammates miss her. And I don't know. I don't understand. I do understand why she gets all the hate she gets, but we're not going to go there because this is a nice, wholesome Christian podcast.
Nah, man. Tell us why
Is
did you?
is Angel Reese like your favorite player or something?
Absolutely not. She's not, but I want to see her succeed because I know there's a large chunk of quote unquote WNBA fans who want to see her fail.
Hmm.
Simply because of the dust up in college with Caitlin Clark. And that they hate her because she's not Caitlin Clark. They hate her because she went out there and she gave Caitlin a dose of her own medicine and beat her in the championship game. And it's like people forget like Angel Reese didn't come out of nowhere. I believe she was rated higher than Caitlin Clark when they came out of high school as a recruit. It was Paige, it was Angel, and Caitlin. Now Caitlin went on to do some decent things in college, but she never got a championship. Angel did in LSU, and she beat Caitlin to get that championship. And she did the same thing that people were calling showmanship when Caitlin did it. Angel was being a bully, Angel was being a thug, Angel was being this and that. And I mean, the same thing's going on in the league. Like Caitlin got drafted to the Indiana Fever, who was a playoff team when they got her. Chicago was trash when they got Angel, and they did nothing to build around her while she was there. And as the best player on the team, she spoke up, and she got bashed in the media for that, and got bashed on the Reddit chat groups for that. So she goes to Atlanta and she proves her point. You put better players around me, I can help a winning team, but I can't drag trash to nowhere. She didn't say that out. That's not what she said out of her mouth, but that's pretty
I
much what she
hope
was
not.
implying. We need better players out here. We need better players on this roster. We're not going to get it done with the way this team is constructed. And they got rid of her and sent her to Atlanta, where they love her down there. The community loves her. She's balling, and yeah, I want to see her succeed. My favorite WNBA player is Asia Wilson, and I've said that plenty of times. Asia don't get the love she deserves either. Everybody wants to say Caitlin's the face of the league, blah blah blah. Asia is a beast. She is definitely the
I'm not gonna
face.
lie. When you said a large percentage of WNBA viewers they hate on her or something like that. The thing that threw me off was like large percent. Like, is the ratings up? Like, who's? I don't know anyone besides you watching it, so I just looked it up, and you're not wrong. Looks like the viewership is going up. So shout out to the WNBA.
And that's good for them too, man. It's like the more the viewership goes up, the more money, and the more revenue they generate, the more they can push for bigger TV deals. Salaries go up. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, they're
And not just player salaries, man. Staff salary, coaching salary, all that stuff.
they're adding teams to the league. They're adding games to the schedule. They're going up to 50 games next year. The league is finally growing. And I mean, even last year when Caitlin was out, people were still watching. So it just
Weren't
goes to
weren't
show
weren't
that
they
people weren't just
collectively
watching for her.
bargaining against additional games? Weren't like I forget there was one player that was like upset that they were trying to add games to the schedule.
I
I
don't
I,
know
I don't
who
remember.
it was.
I think that was in correlation to the salary. I think they were upset because they were like, we want a raise based on the games that we're playing right now, and they I think they were trying to say, don't try to squeeze more games into a schedule because we're asking for more money. Don't make us harder, work harder. You know what I'm saying? For pay that we're not even getting. We're begging for pay right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Props to the WNBA. I'm glad that I'm glad that they're doing well, man. We had a lot of, well, I did. I had a lot of fun poking fun at them last year. You know, I said some things that about Angel Reese and the whole league that I don't regret, but I digress. You know,
Yeah, well, there's still one what you call it, WNBA former player still needs to say her apologies to a Mr. Jalen Brunson
Nope.
about saying little
My
little
business.
guys can't win in the NBA, and she refused to apologize. But we'll let that one go because we've kind of gone long on
Did
the
you did
NBA
you hear
topic.
did you hear what she said though? She
I
she
heard it wasn't an
she
apology;
didn't
it was a
she didn't
non-apology.
apologize, but she did give my man his props. She was like, "Look, he's an outlier. He's along the lines of the Steph Currys and Isaiah Thomases, where yeah, you got the occasional little guy that can be the best player on the team and go to a championship. So she's not gonna apologize for what she's saying because 99% of the time she's right. Every now and then you're gonna get a little dude that's gonna drag a team to Allen Iverson was a beast. He couldn't do it by himself. He couldn't do it as a number one player. My boy Derrick
But
Rose,
she
he was
said
a
she said
beast.
that
He
response
couldn't do it.
directly about Jalen Brunson though. So the apology should have been directly also about Jalen Brunson. That's what people are saying. It wasn't that she
Was
didn't say generally. She said she
was the
doesn't think
conversation
he's going to win a
specifically about
championship.
Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, it was about Jalen Brunson. She was saying that she doesn't that there's no way that he's going to win a championship because you can't have a team that is run by a little guy that wins the championship.
How
And
long
so
ago
they
did
were
she say
just
that?
he was just there like, yep.
How long ago did she say that? And what team was he on
She
when he
said
said
it a
that
couple
last
years
time?
back. I think she did say it a
And
couple years back.
they've made a lot of moves to put a decent team around him, right? I mean,
Well, every championship team, you're going to have a decent team around them, hopefully.
they had to go get some dog. I mean, I talk about how sassy Cat is, but he's a beast on the court.
can I
Oh, for
can I
sure.
And
interject
they
real
went
quick?
and got OG. They got and went Bridges. Like they went and got some ballers to put around them. So I mean, to say he was the best player, yeah, but number two wasn't that far off, and number three wasn't that far behind him. Like they could have easily been 1A, 1B. He wasn't clear cut the best player on the team.
Jalen Brunson wasn't clear cut the best player on the team.
I wouldn't say he's clear cut the best player on their team. No,
Oh, now you got to apologize like Becky Hammond. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Well, man won MVP. He won like 7 trophies this year. He won MVP of the NBA Cup, MVP of the NBA Finals,
I love
MVP of
how
the
the NBA
conference
Cup
finals.
matters to you this year. I love how it matters to you this year. Any other time your
Just
team win the NBA Cup,
only
you're like,
because the
yeah,
Knicks
whatever.
won. Yeah, when we win, it matters. When we win, it matters. But yeah, I mean, the man literally won MVP 3 different occasions. An official trophy from the NBA, conference finals, NBA Cup finals. He's a clear cut best player on the team. Clear cut,
I'm not.
no doubt about it.
I wouldn't say it was leaps and bounds the best player on the team, though. Like somebody's got to be the best, but it easily could have been somebody else.
I would say it's a lot closer between Brown and Tatum than it is between Brunson and the second best player on the Knicks.
That's because you don't like Jason Tatum.
So let me
Bro,
say something real quick. Let me say this real quick.
Brown won MVP of the finals. No one else did.
Hold on. Let me say this real quick, man. So let's go back to this Becky Hammond thing, man. I've been thinking about this a little bit. Does she really need to apologize?
Nope.
PZ, do
She
you
don't
really?
have to,
Why don't you
but
think
it,
she?
it does. It does make us all like question her basketball IQ.
So here's the thing, okay? No, 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 no. Hold on, Zeke. Hold on.
She'll never be allowed to coach in New York.
Hold up.
Liberty is off limits. Knicks, Brooklyn off limits. She's persona non grata in New York.
No, let me say
Oh,
this real
IQ
quick,
was in
man. Let me
question
just say
because you
this.
said something bad about Jalen Brunson.
No, let me say this. So I after the final game, after the Knicks won it all, after the parade, you got all of these people. You got like the fourth string analysts coming, if you even want to call them that, coming on like ESPN, and they're talking about, is the NBA trophy, is this a participation trophy and stuff? They just put anybody in front of a microphone, right? But then the people that you expect to say smart things say really dumb things, and these people are getting paid to say these things and to stand on these things. And I think about I think about every time that Stephen A. Smith has been wrong, every time that Shannon Sharp has been wrong, every time that Skip Bayless has been wrong about a take, right? I'm going to leave Cowherd out of there because Cowherd to me is a complete joke. I don't even think he should be in the
He's
industry.
got a whole segment on his show though where he admits where he's wrong. He's got Colin right, Colin wrong, where he admits where he's
I mean, I
wrong.
get that. I don't even
He's
care
still
about.
trash.
I don't care about Colin Cowherd, man, because I just he's just a I don't care about him at all, man. My thing is this: if they had to apologize every time they were wrong about one of their dumb takes, man, they would apologize so much we wouldn't even believe them. I don't even want Becky Hammond apologizing, man, because the idiocy of her comment. Now, yeah, she did come back and say, "Oh,
Idiocy.
he's an outlier." Blah blah blah. We don't need her dumbness to validate how dope Jalen Brunson is. She already put her foot in her mouth by saying what she said, talking about he's too small. Like I don't understand that. Like Isaiah Thomas was small, and Isaiah Thomas was a floor general, right? And he led the bad boy Pistons to multiple championships. So her take on a small, and I don't want to, she's hiding behind the outlier thing. Jalen Brunson is not an outlier. Jalen Brunson is who he is. He's dope. Period. All right. And if you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever read the book Outliers before. Malcolm, I can't remember his last name. It's a great book. Talks about the 10,000 hour rule. And obviously, Jalen Brunson has put in those 10,000 hours. His father has coached him up since he was a little boy. So he fits the description of an outlier with the 10,000 hour rule. Yes, absolutely. But Jalen Brunson, when you see him step on a court, you know who he is. I don't know what led people to believe that he wasn't capable of leading a team to a championship. I don't know what in their eyes led them to believe that he wasn't built different. And so this whole narrative about, we really, she need to come forward and apologize. I thought about it a lot, man. It's like I don't even want to. I don't need an apology from her because first of all, it'll be fake, and second of all, she's gonna be apologizing again in a few months for something dumb that she said, just like these other pundits out here. So I don't believe. Don't say nothing, Zeke. Don't say nothing, Zeke. You just disappeared, Peasy. And you came right back.
I didn't even notice. I was falling asleep.
You trying to say I
You
did a Wemby? I
saw my
disappeared.
take? Come on, man. Yo, I'm done.
Spud, Webbs, Muggsy Bow. No, but I mean they never won a championship, so I
They
get
didn't win no
that. But
championship. Spud wasn't leading nobody anywhere.
yeah, and those players, while very, very talented, I don't think there was any point they were ever the best player on their respective teams.
Spud
Um,
came off the bench too, because Doc Rivers was running the Hawks.
yeah, and yeah, Brunson was definitely the best player on the team. But let's get into our main topic
Snuck
for
that
the
in
night.
there. Zeke. All right, man. Let's get it. Let's talk about theme nights, man.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so all right, I'll just read it off. So, are theme nights such as Pride Night more about inclusivity or caving to the cause? What happens when athletes push back? Are the civil rights? of athletes being violated. And so this whole conversation stems from what happened when San Francisco Giants players being forced to wear the baseball hats with the San Francisco Giants logo with rainbow colors on the inside. And so actually, I think it was a couple Giants players started writing on the hats, and one in particular wrote Genesis, obviously because the rainbow, many Christians believe, was co-opted by the Pride movement, as it originally throughout history has signified God's promise in Genesis never to flood the earth again. And so yeah. And so our theme nights, such as Pride Nights, more about inclusivity or caving to a cause. There was pushback on that Giants player for the MLB reprimanded him. In fairness to the MLB, they said later in the statement that they were reprimanding him not for the content of what he wrote on the hat, but for the fact that all kinds of writings on equipment is considered a violation. And so, Dave, we'll start it off with you, brother. Do you think this Pride Nights, which affects baseball more than maybe other sports because they play in the month of June, is more caving to the cause or about inclusivity?
Personally, I think it's more about caving. I think it's about these organizations being fearful of what will happen if they show any reluctance to align with these causes. All right. I feel like they are afraid that the big bad wolf will come for them and slander them and call them what's the word? What's the new word? They call them insensitive to the cause, right? Insensitive to the movement. Pride Night has absolutely nothing to do with 27 up, 27 down. Nothing. I personally feel like MLB goes extra hard because they start defacing their own logos, right? Logos that have been in place since the dead ball era. They've been in place since world wars have been fought. They've been in place since the civil rights movement, right? And they've been in place since some of the biggest tragedies in this country have taken place. And those logos have stood. They have never changed. They have never you have never seen a logo altered, even with the camouflage hats, right? They do the camo hats, but the logo remains the same, right? But they completely change the color of their professional teams' logos to align themselves with Pride Month. And for me personally, I don't care about how anybody else feels about it because these are my personal feelings. I find it disgusting because to me it's kowtowing. So I look at it like bending the knee. And these organizations will come to them. They even do it on social media. They on social media, they'll change their logo for the month to their logo with the rainbow colors and stuff. And these owners are afraid to be called insensitive and to be accused of being on the outside looking in or being against what these groups are trying to accomplish. So let me put it to you like this. I would love to see an organization or a league where they say, you know what, we're going to allow, we're going to change the logo and it's going to represent the colors of the Puerto Rican flag. So all month, we're going to change the logo and we're going to drape the Puerto Rican flag over the logo. That somebody will have a problem with that, right? Or even better, I would love to see I would love to see these teams stop putting. So the Yankees during Pride Month 2 years ago, they put a plaque up out in Monument Park to pay tribute to an organization in New York City, an LGBTQ organization. They gave them a plaque and they dedicated a plaque in Monument Park to them. I would love to see these teams stop handcuffing themselves to these causes, man. Because it's like it's completely unnecessary. But the point that I was getting to is, I would love for a league to come out and say, you know what, we're gonna have we're gonna have White Night, where white people can come out and be proud of what they do. They can come out and they can bring Confederate flags. They can, you know what I'm saying? White Night. Come on, man.
Dave, where is this conversation going, brother? What are you talking
Nowhere.
about?
Straight to the gutter, bro.
No, ain't no straight to
Straight
the
to the
ain't no straight
gutter.
to the gutter, because I'm gonna tell you why, man.
That's
No,
crazy.
listen to hear me out. Hear me
That-
out. How many people
mm.
would be completely ticked off if there was a white night? Why are we having a pride night? Why is one group allowed to have a night and another group? Black night, pride night, black night, Puerto Rican night. I mean, it could go. You could go on and on with it. Why is this even in sports? That's what I'm getting to. I am not here. I don't care about your group. I'm not here to see your colors and to see your flag. I'm here to watch a baseball game. I don't care about that. I'm not paying a ticket to come see that. So why are you forcing that down my throat? That's what I'm saying. That's the point that I'm making, man. You guys are talking about where is this going? It's ludicrous. It's completely ludicrous, dude, that we have to sit through a game when they're like marching a drag queen out on the mound to throw a first pitch in front of all of these little kids. That's not ludicrous.
No, I
That
100% agree with you. But I was just wondering, like, why you wanted a white knight. You were just making a point.
I'm just making a point. I didn't say I
Oh,
wanted
okay.
one, bro, but I'm making a point. I'm
All
saying
right. You had me concerned there for a second. I'm
the
like, why are we
absurdity of
doing
it all.
that?
Huh?
I was just concerned. I was just there, like, why would we want to do that? We trying to
No,
get rid
bro,
of
I'm
these
not
kind of
saying that
like
I want it. What I'm
non-baseball
saying is
related nights.
what I'm saying is, if a group steps up and says, "Hey, we want our night," how do you say no to them if you're doing all of this other stuff? Like,
Right.
how do you
It's the
legitimately say
slippery
no to them?
slope. So you're
Huh?
talking about the slippery slope is what you're
Yes,
talking
that's
about.
exactly what I'm
I
talking
got
about.
you.
I'm not sitting here. I'm not sitting here. Saying, "Hey, I want this. I want a group to come up and ask for a white knight or I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the
Right.
absurdity of it all, man. We're talking about baseball, bro. Like, why are we even having these conversations? Like, why is this even a topic? Like, why are they turning over their league to these causes that are doing nothing but damning people to hell, man? Like, why? Why are we doing? And why are athletes being forced? Okay, forced to adhere to it. They're being forced to adhere to it. It's like, I don't understand that. And not everybody gonna agree with me, man. But it's the absurdity of it all. Now you go look at the National Hockey League. The National Hockey League said we're done. Theme nights are done. This is like it's a wrap. Because you know why? Because you have players that are from Europe. They're from Russia. They're from other places. They're like, nah, man, I'm not doing that. And you know what? I won't play. I'll sit. I won't play. You're not gonna force me to do that. That's against my religion and it's against my beliefs. I'm not doing it.
Mm,
They stopped doing it, man. They're not forcing them dudes to do that, man. Them dudes not wearing
right.
that. They're not wearing rainbow logos and stuff like that. They're like, we here to play hockey, man. We're not here for that. So why is it happening? And why is it happening in MLB? I just don't understand it, man. Like, and again, like I said, my opinion is not a popular opinion, but I don't care.
Well said, man. Z.
Um, really gonna make me follow that. All right.
There's only three of us today, brother. So
Here's the deal. Um, I couldn't care less about theme nights. Um, I I do believe players should have an option. They shouldn't make it where everybody has to wear the hat with the rainbow. I mean, the one pitcher, he didn't. I can't remember his name, but there was one pitcher who came into the game. He didn't wear the logo, the rainbow logo on the hat.
Oh, he
And
just had
like
his regular hat on.
yeah, he had his regular hat on. And like you said, there were a couple players who who wrote the scripture from Genesis about the rainbow. Um, and naturally, that was extremely controversial. So it was polarizing. Um, my question is, um, I know the league came out and said, "Oh, uh, they shouldn't be altering their hats in any way." Um, the people who supported them writing the scripture on their hats, um, say during Fourth of July weekend when everybody has the red, white, and blue logos, which again is changing the logo, the usual colors for a particular cause or particular theme.
That's
What
true. I
if
forgot
what
about
if
that.
what if a black player wrote June 19th, 1865 on his hat, um, which is when the slaves in Texas were actually notified that they had been freed at the beginning of the year. What if they wanted to do that in protest? Because a lot of people aren't feeling the whole Fourth of July Independence Day thing as much as they used to. So if a player came out and wanted to do that, would the players or the people who support the players protesting the rainbow logo, would they turn around and support the players protesting the red, white, and blue logo? I don't know. And that's why I couldn't care less about people being upset about having to wear the logo. I couldn't care less about people upset protesting the logo. It's if putting on that hat makes you feel some type of way, then it is what it is. Go out and play ball. Like you said, maybe we should just do away with theme nights. I know we mentioned the whole Jackie Robinson thing where everybody wears number 42, but for Roberto Clemente Day, one player from each team wears number 21. Make it optional. Maybe somebody has somebody that they want to represent, a family member or something that they want to give a shout out to by wearing the logo, the rainbow logo hat. Make it optional. Don't make it where everybody has to wear it because not everybody's going to feel the same way. And do the same thing for all these themes. I mean, I don't know. The one that I understand that I feel like should be universal. We've had the conversation before. The whole Jackie Robinson thing. Ken Griffey Jr. He was the first one that came out and wanted to do it, and the league said, you know what, let's everybody's going to wear number 42. Okay, cool.
Did they say that
That's a big deal.
everybody's going to wear it, or did they make it optional for everybody? They could if they wanted to. Because I remember
I
the first
believe
year
I
was
believe
nobody
the
throwing.
first year when Ken Griffey Jr. did it, and then a bunch of other players wanted to start doing it, and now it's just to the point where everybody does it. If it's optional, I don't know, but I haven't heard any pushback about people having to wear number 42 on one day, um, which is another thing. Like, yo, it's one day. You're still gonna get paid. It doesn't make you gay. Um, they're not making you go out and play a ball game in a dress for a month to represent the whole month. I mean, I don't. And much like you said, like your opinion might not be popular amongst the liberals. My opinion, I know, is definitely not popular against the more conservative group, but I don't care either,
Yeah,
because it's not something that bothers me as much as it bothers other people. Like if I don't know, I don't know.
my whole thing with Zeke is the reason that I don't like it is because I have never ever, I've never liked bullies. If
Hmm.
there's one thing, if there's a bane of my existence, is bullies. I can't
Hmm.
stand bullies, right? And so I ride against bullies, man. And Rob Manfred is a bully. When you tell a man that's a professional athlete, right, for an organization, you're gonna wear that hat. Like, like, so who died and made him the slave master? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is there no option? Is there an option for them? I have no idea if there's an option in place for them to, because the one you said the one guy rocked the hat without the logo. I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know if it
actually
was an
what my
option or
take is going to
if
involve.
he just did it and said consequences be damned. I'm not putting a hat on,
Yeah.
and good on him
Yeah,
for doing that.
so the MLB was saying that they do have the option to wear just a regular Giants hat. Um, my con- my contention is this: is that should they even be put in that position to have to publicly dissent in light of all the vitriol that
Correct.
the LGBT community has leveled on the United States population, right? Because it started off as they just wanted to be recognized and be able to do marriage, right? This is how this all started within our lifetimes, right? They just wanted to be recognized and be able to marry like everybody else. And the contention from the Christians and the public was they're like, bro, there's definitions to things, right? The definition of a marriage is between a man and a woman. If you allow the definition to be broken by a marriage that is not a marriage, you're breaking what it means to be married. And at the time, because I was alive for it, people were arguing the slippery slope. You break up the definition of what a marriage is, who's to say, and then all kinds of analogies, kind of similar to what Dave was doing in his original Take What Ensue. If you break up the definition, who's to say that a man can't marry, his cousin, or a man can't marry his pet, or a man can't marry, and the slippery slope, analogy would continue. So this is what people were arguing at the time, right? No, no, no. We just want marriage, and then that morphed into, well, now we got our marriage. Now you must accept us.
Yep.
Make this cake.
Yep.
Oh, you're not accepting of our marriage. You have to. We are compelling you to make this cake. Well, it's against my beliefs. I thought all you wanted was this. No, no, no. Now we want to be acknowledged publicly by the masses. You must make the cake. And then that morphed into everybody, almost being silenced on social media and different platforms. Now it's not enough for just you to recognize our marriage. Now you have to recognize our pronouns. What? I got to call you a they them? Like, bro, like, I'm not calling you that. No, no, no. You have to call us that. And if you don't call us that, we're gonna make sure that we out you and we get you fired. And that's what it morphed into, right? And so, it's been morphing all the way. And so now we have a situation where they're forcing, or not necessarily forcing, because he had the choice to wear a different hat. But it's there like we've seen the kind of vitriol that audience has towards people who don't kowtow to their belief. And so, like, I understand what she was trying to say, Zeke, was they're like, hey, wearing the hat doesn't make you gay, right? I get that. But at the same time, it's they're like, bro, like these people are on a public platform, right? Like, I mean, you're wearing something that you don't believe in, right? And so, like, an employer should not force you, right, to adopt a different religion, right? Because that's essentially what that is. I know, a lot of people who believe in the homosexual movement don't. Oh, well, I just believe in science. It's like, no, bro, that's a whole separate religion, in my opinion. And it's not just my opinion, because this is Bible. When you look at the book of Daniel, right, you had the famous story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? Why were these people thrown into the fire, right? If you remember, they were thrown into the fire because they wouldn't bow the knee to the golden statue of the king. Everybody is forced to bow the knee to the golden statue of the king. They said, like, listen, you can do whatever you want. I work for you, Mr. King, but I am not bowing the knee to your golden statue. I will never. And that's when they got thrown into the fire, right? How is this any different? Like, just because they work for the company does not mean that they need to go and bow the knee to, hey, well, listen, you work for us. Wear this. You work for us. Say this. You work for us. Believe this, right? And it's there like, bro, no. Like, if it goes against my morals and my principles, that's where you're allowed to draw the line. And you should not be put in that kind of situation where you have to be advocating for something that you don't believe on a public stage where you got kids, you got other families looking on. It's just it's a bad look, and they need to get rid of it, like Dave was saying, in all sports. Sports should be a place where we can break free from those kind of political distractions and the things that divide us. Sports is something that can bring us all together. There's no reason that we need to celebrate whether you sleep with a man or you sleep with a woman. There's no reason that we need to even be having that conversation in front of the kids. I'm going to a baseball game and I have to explain to my daughter to if you have to explain to your kids, hey, why are they all wearing this kind of jersey? I thought the jersey looked like this. Oh, that's because they're celebrating that this player or these people sleep with that. I shouldn't have to have that conversation when I go to a baseball game, football game, basketball game, whatever kind of game it is. I'm there to watch the sport. I'm there to enjoy and be entertained. And this is just it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary, and it's just one more step, like what Dave was saying, part of the slippery slope, and mandating and compelling speech and compelling compliance. And that's kind of where I stand on that.
So let me say this really quick. So just for clarity, and I want to make sure because I don't ever like to say things that and have them be law. And so I want some clarity on the NHL situation. So the NHL, they didn't ban Pride Nights, but they switched it up, the theme up from hockey is for everyone. That's what they've hockey is for everyone night, and they no longer have the warm up jerseys. Where the players come out with the warm up jerseys that are in support of LGBTQ and stuff like that. So they've done away with that. So they eliminated all specialty themed warm up jerseys. They've allowed players if they want, they could put like pride tape on the end of their sticks, but that's as far as it goes. And then they have when they do the hockey is for everyone night, it's a celebration of everybody, all lifestyles or whatever, but it's not completely focused on one group of people. So they have taken that they've taken the microscope off the players where players were being vilified because they didn't want to wear the warm up jersey or whatever. Because dudes were saying we're not doing it, and if it means that I have to say games, then I'll say games, but I'm not doing it. And again, Chris, it was well said with everything that you said, man. I just want stadiums and arenas to go back to what they were intended for. These teams and organizations, they are getting way too involved in things that really don't have anything to do with them. I understand that they feel like this stuff is gonna, they want to do things to bring the community together. Get on the court and give us some good competition. Get on the field and give us, throw a perfect game. Get on the field and do what you get paid millions of dollars to do, man, and be a stellar athlete and take us temporarily away from all of these things that are happening in the world that are dividing us as people and as races. That's what I really would like to see these organizations do. I am in no means saying shut up and dribble. That's y'all know that's not me. That's not who I am. But when I come to watch a baseball game, when I pay money to come watch a baseball game, I want to see. I don't want all the extracurricular stuff. I really don't. And Zeke, thank you for pointing out the Fourth of July logo thing because I completely forgot about that.
Well, I mean, the Fourth of July thing, like they sing the national anthem um, before the games typically start. It's just because that's based on the country where you live. Um, I personally, I don't, not to be hypocritical, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's the country where you live. That's it. That's something completely different. I would say this that I had a friend once that uh, someone had there was some kind of argument. If I don't remember what it was necessarily about, and people were just there like, man, you gotta like, lighten up or something like that. This is just the way that I am. This is how I am, and we were at the time. The advice was, well, when you say this is just how I am, you limit yourself from being able to grow, right? Yeah, this may be how you are right now, but life has a way. Like, I mean, Zeke said it perfectly earlier. The 20-year-old me wouldn't recognize me today, right? And so life has a way of allowing you to grow if you don't, you kind of box yourself into a box. You're allowing yourself to grow, mature, to come to a deeper understanding of things, and to be corrected. And so I think that's probably one of the biggest issues that I have with the whole Pride Night or the Pride Month in general, because it's a group of people that are identifying their whole being, right, with a um, certain activity that they do, right? Obviously, as a Christian, we would call that activity sin, but it's you're identifying yourself with a whole activity. There's so much more to you than just that activity, and because you're saying no, no, this is who I am. This is what I represents me. It's not allowing you that room to grow, to be convicted, to improve, right? And to repent, right? Because like if that's your identity, then you're essentially, and I saw this online. Someone was saying, "You're saying God, you're allowed to correct me, but don't correct me here, right? This is who I am, right?" And so it's like in every aspect of life, like you want to be, give yourself the grace to become better in every aspect of life. And when you say, "No, no, no, I'm prideful of this activity that I do," um, especially a sinful one, it's gonna block you from being able to grow from it, right? And to allow the Holy Spirit to work in your life to where you can put away those things. Because at the end of the day, like when it comes, especially when it comes to like sexual kind of behavior, um, it's not like heterosexual people don't struggle with different like desires too, right? Men, they want multiple partners, right? And before marriage, right? And so there's a lot of different ways where you could struggle with sexual type of sin. And if you say, no, 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 I identify as someone who, either has multiple partners, polygamy, right? Now you're saying, God, don't touch me here. Or identify as someone who, is just going to fornicate. You know what I mean? Well, now you're saying, God, I don't want you to touch me or change me there. And so I think that's the biggest problem with perpetuating that message, even if it's as simple as wearing a pride flag.
Yeah. Zeke made a good point too. Is you know what happens. So right now there's this new uprising. I don't want to call it an uprising, but there's this new train of thought in America about the Fourth of July, and how there's so much controversy around the Fourth of July now and what really happened and all this stuff. Let me tell you something. We live in our country has a very wicked history, bro. Very wicked. All right, it was built on blood, and whether people want to believe that or not, it's true. It's built on blood. There's always been war. There's always been killing and taking of others' lives to gain, to conquer. That's the nature of man. That's the sin nature. And this country is 100% built on that, right? So we could go back and we could talk about, well, this is what really happened, and Lincoln really didn't. Lincoln didn't really like the slaves, and blah blah blah. All of this stuff, man. Our country has a nasty, ugly history. It really does. So my thinking is that I understand where the commissioner was coming from. Don't write on the hats, okay? If you don't want to wear the hat, don't wear it. But don't write messages on the hats because that opens Pandora's box. It's not right to say, okay, a person can't write a message on their hat to their children, but they can write a Bible verse on it. That's ludicrous because you can't say one person can't do one thing, but because they're a Christian, they can do the other. And just like they wouldn't want somebody writing, something on the 4th of July. They wouldn't want somebody writing something that counters that. I understand that because their argument is that we're not saying we're not violating their religious rights. What we're saying is we have a rule that you cannot write stuff on your official uniform. And I get that part. I'm not so much upset with them about them not allowing them to write Bible verses because I think people are missing the bigger picture with that. They're saying, and there's this rule's been in place for a long time. You guys know, man, like with the NFL, they have dudes walking up and they have former players walking up and down on the rules committee, man. They find dudes for wearing different color socks and different color cleats and stuff. They have a strict rule about the uniform code and what you can and cannot wear. And it's dirty because they make ex players police ex current players on the sideline with that, and they fine them for that. So I understand that piece about them not wanting people to write stuff on the hats, regardless if it's like I said, if it's a Bible verse or not. My thing is put a rule in place, put something in place that says we gave players the option that if they want to do this, they do it. If they don't, they don't. But I would rather see them get rid of the whole thing because all it's going to do is turn those players who choose not to wear it into villains. They're going to be vilified. And I think that's the league is putting them in a horrible position when they do that. Just like if a player decides I don't want to wear the stars and stripe logo on my hat, then and don't let it be a black player, then they're gonna look like, oh, they hate this country and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? It's why, man? Why
I,
do we like
I can
what
tell Zeke wants to say something.
Now I was just gonna point out, like I'm listening, and um, I don't. This I was doing some research while we're talking. This isn't a league mandated thing, and I just found that out. The Texas Rangers don't have a Pride Night.
oh for
Um,
real?
yeah,
Right.
and the Giants have been doing this since '94. They've been having a Pride Night since '94. This isn't anything new for them. I'm not sure when all the other teams decide to get on the bandwagon and do it, but it's not a league mandated thing. It's not a Manfred mandated thing. And far be I'm not one to normally stick up for commissioners, um, but I don't want him getting beat up for this one. This isn't something that he's doing. The Rangers don't have a Pride Night, so teams don't have to have Pride Nights.
Yeah.
Um, they just I don't know. They I've said enough.
Yeah.
Nah, that's
But
good.
I,
That's good to know,
I, I would
man.
say, I mean, to me, to go along with what you originally said, Dave. To me, it's puzzling. Like I mean, we could almost have a whole separate podcast on why is the next generation of Americans, um, why I don't understand why they hate America. Like you were talking about, like how, um, that it's a history that's tarnished. It's built on war and blood. Like, name a country that's not though. Like
Right.
I was trying to think like, oh, like when you were talking about it, I was there like, yeah, what country is not though?
It's the sin
Like,
nature, man. It's man. That's like
yeah,
there's man on every continent.
I mean, you would have even before we ever got to this continent, right? The Americans that you would say today, you would have warring factions with Native American tribes. Like, so it was everywhere, bro. Like, there was blood before. So, like, I don't know. I mean, like, it's interesting. I don't understand why. This is America's best place to be, man. I don't understand why people hate it. It's a land of opportunity. A lot of people's trying to get in here.
Yeah, a lot of Americans would disagree with you that it's the place to be, man. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I say it all the time, man. It's like if you don't like it, man, leave. If you don't like it,
Yeah,
leave.
there's other places.
Leave.
Ain't nobody stopping you. They can go.
Right.
But
I
I mean,
mean,
I mean, yeah, they like someplace else.
and
Go there.
I'm passionate about it, man, because at the age of 18, my father was drafted and drug off to a war that he didn't want to fight, right? And ultimately, that war ended up costing him his life when he was 43 years old. So when I hear a person talk about this country and we bootlicking the troops and stuff, my father was one of those troops, right? And you know what my father got as a reward when he came home from Vietnam? At the airport, they spat at him and called him a baby killer, right? So when I hear people talk about the troops and they talk about our armed forces, it really, 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 and I'm not gonna say the word that I want to say, but it angers me because I'm like, if you don't like it, leave. Don't If you don't like it, leave. Right? I buried a father who never got to know his grandchildren, man, and his great grandchildren. So don't care about your feelings about how you feel about this country, man, because my family, most of my family, dedicated their lives to defending what you can't stand about this country. If you don't like it, leave. Please leave. Do us a favor. Do me a favor and leave if you don't like
Well,
it.
see, one of the beautiful things about this country is the freedom of speech, and people are entitled to not like the country, and that's okay. Um, I don't understand the growing well, I guess to a degree I do. It's getting a lot harder to get the American dream here in America. House prices are going up, wages aren't going up in a commensurate rate with the cost of homes. And so there's a lot of things that people could have a legitimate gripe about America, but as far as like just straight up hating the country rather than wanting to change it or make it a little better, that part I guess I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I can get with them people being disappointed, man. And they have the absolute right. They have the absolute right, man, to be like, you know what? I hate what's going on here. I hate the policies. I hate this. I get it, man. I get it. You have every right, man. But when when you see those coffins come home, man, with those young men who paid the ultimate they made the ultimate
Sacrifice, yeah.
sacrifice, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's one of them things that just it angers me, man. It really does. So,
Amen to
the
that day.
beautiful thing about this country is that they have every right to say what they want to say, but the hate is the part that I can't get with, man. That's the part that drives me nuts.
Well, next week will be essentially the July 4th essential podcast because next week, I believe Wednesday lands on the 1st. And so we'll be 3 days away from, America's 250th birthday celebration. And so maybe that'd be a good time to kind of talk about some of those stuff. Perfect timing. You
Yeah.
guys want to get into that. But we've gone long. Unless you guys want anything else, Zeke, you want to get the last words in here?
Nope.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to like leave you hanging. It sounded like it looked like you wanted to say something. I just wanted to give you that
Oh,
right.
I do, but it's 10:30.
Man,
Yeah,
come on,
that's right.
man. It's
No,
10:30, man.
I,
We
I
got 6 minutes before we had an hour and a
no,
half. You can say what you
I
got to
got,
say in
I
six
got,
minutes.
I can't. I promise you. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up, man.
Wrap it up. All right. So, all right. Well, hey, maybe we can save it for the next podcast. Drop a like in the chat if you like this kind of content. And maybe we'll come back with something similar next week. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Deuces.
Peace.